with Warner Robins Police.
Warner Robins Police. Warner Robins Police.
The entire Warner Robins Police Department Narcotics Investigation Unit is on administrative leave tonight.
All parties are innocent until proven guilty. That's kind of where we're at.
I spoke to a woman who says the investigation stems from her interaction with officers of the narcotics unit. She told us that her boyfriend was arrested during a recent traffic stop with drugs in the car. After that, she says an officer with the unit attempted to force her to sell the drugs to help their investigation.
District Attorney William Kendall said he's cleared 4 of the 6 officers of any wrongdoing.
This is a Shields of Shame exclusive.
All right, so a couple things on the district attorney and House County, right? You're not in trouble, right? That's not what this is about. You're going to leave here on your own free will. You're going to get in your car. You're going to drive back to wherever it is you came from. Everything's going to be okay, all right? I give you my word. Okay. We're interested in your interactions with Warner Robins Police Department, specifically the NIU, as a CI. So, you know, their use of CIs is okay. But we're curious about that interaction, what it was you were called to do, and what has happened, you know, in the beginning with the traffic stop and then up until now. We're not going to talk about, is it Mr. Henderson? We're not going to talk about him or his case, okay? We're going to talk about the specifics of that traffic stop, just the things that you interacted with Warner Robins, NIU with after that.
Okay. I get it. Don't talk about his case or anything that could be relevant.
Yeah, we're not here for that today. All right, it's going to be okay. Our inquiry is solely about, you know, NIU, your interaction with them, and them using you as a confidential informant. Okay. Mm-hmm. Any questions about that?
No.
All right. So Bobby's going to have some questions for you. I might interject here and there and ask some stuff, but
I'll start at the beginning and I'll leave out the specifics about how it happened.
Do you have those text messages that you were showing me that you were trying to send me yesterday? Because I was trying to follow them on my phone and they came into just a huge jumbled mess. Okay. You don't mind if I look at them again?
No.
Okay.
I should have printed them out.
That's fine. I mean, they can probably...
Is there a way to print them?
I can screenshot them and print them at home.
or just screenshot them and email them to me.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Okay. All right.
I'll have to number them probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sure. All right. Well, another thing I should tell you is that I want you to know that whatever you tell us, obviously, you know, like I said, you're not here to be in trouble, but what you do tell us needs to be the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. And nothing but the truth. So if you can't leave parts out on purpose, you know, you just need to be 100% honest with us, and be truthful about what it is you say and what you tell us. Okay. It needs to be the truth.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so it starts back, I don't know, maybe a month ago. I was trying to move to an RV park. I had given the address to Miss Howard and it was not approved, but I had paid already the guy because I went out there and saw it was in the middle of nowhere. I was like, it's gonna be perfect. And then he was supposed to pay me back. And he couldn't, I guess something happened. He's in prison. And so, then some people got busted here, there was a shortage of something. I was able to say, hey, will you just pay me the money you owe me in this instead for somebody, and then that's how that all came about. So that's like the deal was facilitated by somebody in prison, and I went up there and met somebody and did the thing. And then, well, okay, so then that was happening, and then we got pulled over, pulled us out of the car, searched, whatever. He asked to speak to the officer, I don't know what was said, came back, said, we have to tell them everything, they'll help us, so we don't have to go to jail, but I was in cuffs already, and
Was he in cuffs?
yes. And so they brought him back to me after they spoke. And he is the one that told me, like he hugged me and talked in my ear and said, just tell them everything. They're gonna help us. And so then they finished searching in the car, they put us in the van, took us down there. They said they were gonna come down and talk to us. Then they started like booking us into the jail, you know, did my property and all that, and took my picture. And then the guy came back and he said that they had permission to work with me only, for me, not for him.
And who is this talking?
Who is the guy with the red beard?
You know, is his name Tyler?
He's got a red beard. I know they said their names, but I don't remember it.
Yesterday she told me it was Hernandez. Is that who you said is an officer?
No, it was
Henderson.
and the guy with the red beard that works in there.
All right, Tyler Harvey, I think.
Yes, Harvey, that's the name. And he came back and he, like I said, he said, we're going to release you. This is what, we're giving you a ticket. And so then they were like, we can't talk here. We're going to walk you out. And so they walked me out and they said, asked me the specifics of who, what, when, where, and why. And I told them.
Where'd they walk you to?
Out the jail, just out through the Sally Port and then a fence.
To the parking lot?
Yeah,
So they were talking to you in the parking lot?
yeah. And I was showing them the messages on the phone from the guy, telling them the details briefly. And they said, okay, call me. I don't know what day it was. I think it might have been like a weekend. So they were like, we're going to have to talk to you Monday. And then, like, we communicated throughout the weekend and then on into, I don't think it was Monday, or maybe it was Monday that it happened. It's all in there. They had me go do reliability guy with somebody to show that I could produce something, which I did. I met with them. They searched my car, gave me the money. I went and did the deal and came back. And
How much money did they give you?
$100.
And how much, what did you buy?
A gram of fentanyl.
Okay.
And then on here, they're just asking me different, you know, what I can type in the search bar. 1 gram.
And the 1 gram of fentanyl cost you $100?
Maybe it's not going to be here.
Can I add or let her back up because she left something out that you were telling me yesterday, because you were being more detailed yesterday.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. So yes, so
Once
we were in the Sally Port.
once the drugs were seized from the car, and you showed me that conversation, and you were scared, and you were saying, what do I do? Because there was more drugs.
It's not really in here. It was in person in the Sally Port. I said, so what do I do now? And they said, well, how much do you have left? And I said, I don't know, maybe, I think I said 16 ounces. I don't know what I said or what the answer was, because it was 18 total, but it was new. It really hadn't done anything.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, keep selling it.
Which one said that to you? The guy with the beard or the other guy?
I'm pretty sure it was the one with the beard, but they were like both on each side of me walking, so I can't be 100% sure. They wanted me to pay the debt off so that I could go up there and make another buy for them.
And
Oh.
the debt was,
$1,500 that I owed,
okay, and
For
that was
what I
for the
had.
drugs that
that I already had.
were
That-
seized.
No, they weren't seized. It was the meth.
Okay.
So, and where was the meth located at?
It was at my house.
Okay, and it was somewhere around 16 ounces. And you told them, did you tell them where it was at?
Yeah.
Like, they knew where it was at?
Yeah.
Okay. And so one of the two, either Keenan or Tyler, told you to,
They said in here they said, are you still answering all your calls?
meaning, are you still
Making
selling?
sales.
Okay.
And it even you saw on here, it's like, did you pay off what you owe?
Mhm.
How much did you owe?
$1,500.
Okay. And how much money would 16 ounces yield? Like, how much money would you make off selling 16 ounces roughly? Would it be enough for 1,500? All right.
Well-
Did you end up selling it and paying them back?
Yeah,
Okay. So you're square with the person?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they were really giving it to me dirt cheap. It was $2,000 for 18 ounces. So the breakdown is cheap if you go by street prices. But to be honest, I don't know anything about this. This is all new. I'm learning about this because I've never done meth. That's not my drug of choice. I've never sold drugs. I didn't even know the prices. I had to ask the drug dealers that I got it from, like, how much does a gram go for? How much does an 8-ball go for? What is the, like...
So do you owe anybody money now like that?
No.
Okay. And is there any more meth left?
No, it's gone.
All right. Did you ever, was there any other drug? It was just meth that you had left and that's what you sold? Was there any other drugs?
No. I mean, we've talked about other drugs on here, and I've sent the messages to them showing what was talked about.
What happened? So you did they searched your car, they give you $100, you go in and buy a gram of
They gave me a
fentanyl.
phone to keep in my bag.
Okay.
I went and bought it and came back, gave them the phone and drugs.
Okay. And did they pay you or anything, give you any money for gas or anything like that? Okay. And do you remember at some point in time sitting down with the investigators over there at NIU and filling out paperwork?
I did that in the car when I met him at the Walmart
Okay.
on Russell, the neighborhood Walmart.
Do you remember what kind of paperwork it was?
It was like basically saying that I can't file if I get hurt, I can't file workers' comp. Not to tell anybody about this, that I'm working with them. If for some reason I get pulled over or get in trouble or something, not to tell them, just to call them later, stuff like that. It was just basically saying that I'm not actually employed by them. Like the rules, I guess, of being a CI.
Sure.
The form, I signed it.
All right. And did they tell you who would be your handler, the person that you would be in contact with?
It was one of them. It was one of them. There was 3 people in the car that day. There was a black guy.
Okay.
He was driving.
What kind of car was it, do you know? We're talking about the day you did the reliability buy, right?
Oh, the day I did the reliability buy, it says it all in here. It was a white Nissan.
Okay. And then when you met with the NIU guys in the parking lot, you talked in the car?
Yes, always in the car.
Okay. And what kind of car was it, do you remember?
It was like an SUV. I think it was a black Ford, maybe.
Okay. So I want to back up for a second. So it's really important that, well, I'll just be completely honest with you, all right, so you know what I'm getting at. It's important to me to know the truth about whether or not NIU instructed you to sell the remaining drugs you had, right? It goes against some rules that we have involving CIs, especially ones on probation, things like that, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to ask you the question to make sure that you're being truthful, all right? And that is a truthful response. Did NIU instruct you to sell the drugs that you had left?
Yes.
Okay. And you clearly remember that?
Yeah, it was in the Sally Port. Is it not on camera?
It may be on camera, but probably not audio. And at that time, were you under the influence of anything? Any medication, drugs, alcohol?
No, I take Suboxone, that's it. But I took it early that morning. I don't take it.
She passed the drug screen yesterday.
Okay.
Did they ask you if you had any more drugs?
Yeah, they said, well, I told them like the whole deal, and that was exactly what they said. Well, how much do you have left? Because my first thing was, well, I can't buy anything from them unless I pay them off. They're not going to sell me anything unless I pay them what I owe.
Did they offer at any time to buy what you had left off of you? No. Or to give you money to pay the person you got off of?
No.
The person that you got off of, was that somebody that was your contact or Luis's contact?
It was my contact, somebody I met through somebody else.
Gotcha, okay. When's the last time that NIU's had contact with you?
Yesterday, they finally answered when I was at the probation office.
Okay, and were they, was that a phone call or a text message?
Phone call.
She was blowing them up from her lobby.
Harvey's been out sick.
That's what he said.
But when she talked with him, I heard him. Because she said, Officer Lanier, what'd you say?
I said, Officer Lanier wants to speak with you.
too nice.
Did you talk to him?
No, I just heard him. He said he would get in touch with me.
All right. Well, can you pull up the text messages that you have with the person that you were talking to from NIU and tell me the telephone number?
Yes. 808.
And what do you have it saved as somebody's name or anything?
Doc, I just made it up. I didn't know what to put. I couldn't
Saved
put,
as Doc, okay.
please.
And is that the same number that they called you from yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, do me a favor, take a screenshot of the phone call that they called you from yesterday.
Incoming call 1 minute.
All right, and take a screenshot of the contact information for, as you name it, Doc in there. And then screenshots of all the text messages between you and the 2819.
It's gonna take her a while.
Yeah, is it pages and pages?
It's
A lot.
That's why you were like, send me, and I was like,
Okay.
I'll be in court Thursday, you just want.
Can you email that?
I can email them, yes.
I think she'd have to email the individual pictures, like a screenshot.
Yeah, you can fit, I think, like up to 10 on a,
Oh,
so I'll number them so you'll know what order they go in. I had to do this for my case as well. And
Do you have a picture of your traffic citation? Or the
no,
ticket
it's that
you-
one.
Okay. Does it have a court date on it?
I don't think so.
All right. I can't find any record that they've actually processed the citation. Not in city court.
And it
state
doesn't
court.
even say the weed
I
on
have a
it.
copy of the police report.
Okay. Well, we have that, but I don't have.
And then another thing
I don't
is,
think they actually forwarded any kind of citation. I
after
just
he
don't
said
have
that they were gonna help us, there was 2 regular uniformed officers, a female and a male. Female got there later after she patted me down. But they kept saying, like I kept, as they were searching and doing their thing, we were out there for quite a while. I kept saying, like, coming up with questions and asking, and they would like pull us to the side and say we can't talk in front of them because they have a body cam on. I don't know what that means.
so were you pulled over by a uniformed officer? No. Who was you pulled over by?
The drug task force, it was the big Ford, like SUV, the black one.
Was it marked?
They were all in plain clothes.
It was like literally pulled over in front of the sheriff's office on Carl Benson.
And they said that I swerved
You were right there at the sheriff's office, right?
in front of the driver's license, going towards Russell.
They were right there on Carl Benson.
And it was an unmarked car.
Unmarked.
And they called the uniformed officers over there.
Yeah, they were there shortly after. They started searching and all that. They brought a dog. The dog didn't come near the vehicle though.
So you went from your house to QT to
Down
then
Carl
getting
Benson.
pulled over.
Yeah.
Did you have the drugs on you all the way from your house, or did you pick them up somewhere?
I didn't have.
I mean him. You don't know how.
I didn't even know that what he had or anything like that. Like, it was a surprise to me that.
Yeah. Well, we're not gonna talk about the
Okay,
details of
sorry.
that case.
And here's the part where he says, "Who's your PO?" I said, "Howard." Why are you going to contact her? I'm not. All right, this is where I went and did the buy. Oh, it was a half a G for 100, actually.
The half gram of fentanyl cost $100.
That's what he sold it to me for. I don't know. I haven't not used that. I take Suboxone, so it would make me sick.
Sure. When you got the fentanyl, what form did it come in? Was it a pill?
It was
liquid?
powder.
Powder.
And you know, I said, I don't know if it's real, I can't tell. I just handed it to them, and then they tested it and said it was real in here. Okay, we're in a Nissan. They had me meet them in the hospital parking lot on House and
prior to the buy or after the buy?
Yeah, prior to the buy. And then they met me in the same place after.
Okay.
The weird part is like they have gone like ghost, like in the past week. Like they said, I think they said this week they were gonna try to make a buy with the go up there. But from my understanding, that it's probably a lot involved because I would have to drive all the way up to wherever they tell me to go. It's
You don't know where they're trying to get you to go buy it?
okay, so initially when I went to make the buy, they had me go to Lawrenceville. I sat in that parking lot for an hour, and then they had me drive to Ballroom, which was an hour more north. And then I met a lady there.
And you don't know the lady? Who set that up?
The people in prison. The
You're
guy-
talking about the stuff prior to NIU, right?
the
Oh, with NIU.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's who they wanted me to buy from again, who I owed the money to.
So when you made the buy, what city were you in?
Ballground. Yeah.
And you made that buy for the NIU.
No, I didn't make a buy for them.
So when you made the buy for them,
Oh, the buy that I made for them was here.
okay.
With fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
Where at?
It was at a gas station on Alberta. And then here's where I was, you asked me to call you yesterday, and that's when I started texting them and saying, am I allowed to tell them what's going on? I don't know. Like, I just had a feeling that, I mean, when something changes with probation, it's because they heard there was something about, something's changed with me.
Sure. Did anything else with your interactions with NIU strike you as odd or concerning, or something that you just maybe didn't understand, or?
Well, they said that it wouldn't violate my probation. Because that was my main concern when they were like, we're going to release you, COC, is that what it's called? I said, and we're going to give you a ticket, and I just kept saying, what do I tell my probation officer? Is this going to violate my probation? Because if you're going to release me to work with you, my main concern is a violation of probation. A charge of a little, tiny, little piece of weed is not gonna, I mean, it would violate my probation. That would be the biggest part. A little charge of weed is not a big deal. The violation of probation is what would screw me. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Okay, let me start at the beginning and number these.
Well, being in possession of 16 ounces of methamphetamine would have sent you back to prison
Yeah,
for the next 4.5 years.
right, at least.
But we're looking past that right now to try to figure out the situation.
So did they tell you not to say anything to your bill?
They said, you only have a ticket. You are only getting a traffic ticket, is what they said. And then they were like, and a citation for less than an ounce of marijuana. And I was like, I can't have that. That's going to violate my probation. And then they were like, here's the failure to maintain lane. And then I kept saying, I know that possession of weed, and they kept like trying to convince me that it wasn't going to violate my probation. I said, it's going to. I'm not allowed, weed is illegal. I'm not allowed to have it. And this was all said in the police station when I was before I was, and they were like, don't even worry about that to the person. So I thought that was.
So did they ask you who your PO was?
Yes, on the message.
So when you reported to me yesterday, did you feel like you could tell me what was going on?
Well, I talked to my friend about it, my best friend, the one Lavelle I told you about.
Before you report or after?
Before, and she said tell the truth.
Okay. But did you yourself think that you could tell me what was going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do at first. I was like, what do I do? But, I mean, when you said what's going on, I felt like you knew, so.
I know, but you had said, I can't talk about it. I was told I can't talk about
I
it.
said, I don't know what to say because they told me I'm not allowed to tell anybody.
And then I said,
You said we're officers.
I said, who is they?
And I said, the
I said,
drug
it's
task
okay,
force.
it's okay to talk to probation about it.
Yeah,
And that made you feel more easy about talking to me?
yeah,
I'm glad you told me the truth yesterday.
yeah.
You send those messages to me in an email?
Yes.
How many pictures of it? 100?
No, I don't think it's 100. It's 4, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 39. I think I might have. They're all like running together. Sure.
Yeah, just give him a puzzle.
Alright, we'll try the first 9. Alright, fail. 2.
W. Kendall, KENDALL, at HoustonDA.org. WKendall@HoustonDA.org. So the ticket that you have at home just has the failure to maintain lane. It doesn't say anything about marijuana.
It doesn't.
Okay.
I'll send you a picture of that as well.
Yeah, email me a picture of it and I'll look into it.
W. Kendall right?
Yep.
At HoustonDA.
.org.
It should pop up, but maybe because it hasn't gone through yet. HoustonDA.org.
I wonder, was it not on the Warner Robins bulletin that they send out either?
They would have taken it off. NIU would have made the file confidential and pistol and it would have never shown up.
And they were like really like kept telling me like it's really important that nobody knows that you're working with us, which I get. But they said it a lot, like.
Yeah. Well, part of that is for the people's safety. You know, you don't want people knowing that you're working as a government agent for the police officers.
And then they told me how they made the report and that it was normal, like it's common for them to release somebody from the police department that got caught with less than an ounce of marijuana, that they don't usually go to jail. They said that. So if anybody were to get the report for some reason, that would be my explanation.
But you got booked over at Warner Robins, right?
Yeah.
You didn't come to the jail over here at any time? Right, okay. So, Warner Robins NIU is no longer going to use you as a CI.
Okay.
All right? They're aware of that, all right? So you don't have to do any more work for them.
Okay.
As far as your failure to maintain lane ticket, and if there's a ticket for marijuana, I will provide you immunity in that, meaning that you will not be prosecuted. Okay, so it's not going to show up. If I have to go down to municipal court and get it myself, I will. But that's the benefit to you for having done some work for NIU as a CI, because you did do a buy, you did take fentanyl off the street, right? If NIU contacts you from this point forward about anything, it doesn't matter if they call you and ask you if it's sunny and 75 outside, I want you to get a hold of Miss Lanier here, and she's going to get a hold of me, okay?
Okay.
If you think of anything after you leave here that you forgot to tell us, or maybe something has changed, whatever it is, just get in touch with our office or Miss Lanier. All right, and the last thing I want to tell you is this is kind of important, okay? So I didn't call you up here just to find out what's been going on just because, right? There's a particular reason, and it's how law enforcement utilizes confidential informants in Houston County, which encompasses my jurisdiction as a district attorney, right? And I have, at times, have to provide accountability to make sure that people are doing the right things for the right reasons, and they're doing it the right way.
Following the law.
And if they don't, I hold those people accountable as a district attorney. It doesn't matter if they're the best police officer there ever was, they still have to be held accountable, okay? You understand what I'm saying? And so in doing that, that means that I, as a district attorney, am looking into a police officer or the people that work with them, okay? So here, you're telling me about something that happened that I don't think is conducive under the law, like it's something they shouldn't be doing, right? And that may lead to different things, right? One of the possibilities is that a police officer gets indicted and they have criminal charges against them, okay? Now, I know that's scary, and the reason why I tell you all that is to tell you this. I can't tell you when you leave here not to talk about our meeting, okay? I just can't make you do that.
Yeah.
I would advise you that it would probably be in your best interest not to tell anybody that we've met up here and talked about this, okay?
Yeah.
That way, nobody is looking at you to give you any kind of information, that you just get to walk the straight and narrow path, finish out your probation, and go on to be a productive citizen in society, all right? So, like I said, I can't tell you not to talk to people about our meeting.
But it might not be good too.
Right. It would probably be against your best interest, you know, to talk to folks, right? Because this is a serious matter, and I take it very seriously. You know, law enforcement needs to be put in check from time to time, and this may be one of those situations, I don't know. But I appreciate you coming in here and provide the information. I don't want you to be scared about it. Certainly, we wouldn't put you in harm's way of any kind. I just don't want you to do it to yourself by, you know, talking to folks about this meeting, or talking to folks about being a CI in general. It's usually bad news, right?
Yeah,
You don't want
I don't
folks to know
anybody.
that. Right. So,
Anything.
just continue to do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Stay the hell away from the drugs.
Yeah.
Do your probation. Get your paperwork submitted for your vacate, right?
Yeah.
And mind your P's and Q's, okay?
Now, as far as Officer Howard goes, and I hate to say this because she's your officer, but we maintain jurisdiction, okay? We've already handled your violation for getting the charge and the ticket, okay? And she knows that. She knows you signed a waiver yesterday.
She's
So,
tough.
I know she is, but
She's mad at me.
I'm gonna say this lightly. I have not told her about anything that we discussed yesterday. I have not told her about this today because it's two separate instances, okay? You see what I'm saying? So I'm not,
Okay.
I haven't told her about this because it's totally separate than us already handling your violation, which documents your supervision, okay?
Okay. So she knows, but she doesn't know it, the specific details.
She knows about the ticket, and she knows that I gave you a drug screen yesterday, and she knows that you signed a waiver.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for us?
No. So the guy that facilitated the deal called me today and told me that Lewis messaged him. Because I haven't told him that Lewis is in jail because, well, he probably wouldn't want to deal with me if he knew my boyfriend was locked up on big stuff, you know? So, he said that Lewis messaged him.
So the guy who facilitated the original sale of the meth?
Yes.
Okay.
And he sent me the thing, but it's not here anymore. I don't know if he did. I don't know. And he said it came up as my number, which is really weird. And I don't know who could have messaged. I was home alone last night. And my only answer was, well, Lewis wasn't here and he can't get in my phone.
Sure. Well, honestly, I don't know. They have tablets and all kinds of crazy stuff over in our jail right now, and how they utilize those is...
Lewis wouldn't message him.
We talked to Lewis at the office yesterday.
He doesn't even know his number. And to be honest, Lewis just wants to get high. So they would not deal with him because they know he gets high. And he wouldn't, were he out right now, he wouldn't try to mess up that connection. Because that would stop him from being able to get high. If you catch what I mean.
I understand.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
All right, what are you going to do if NIU calls you
Call me
or
Sunday.
text you? All right.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do when you get home?
Send the picture of the ticket.
That's right.
At Houston DA.
And where are you gonna be next Tuesday?
Class.
All right, like I said, I'm gonna take care of your traffic citations, okay?
So take a picture of it. send it
Yeah,
to
so
me
you gotta send it to me. If you don't send it to me, I won't take care of it,
Okay.
all right? Now, if you go out and get caught with drugs or violating your probation or anything else from this point forward,
There's no help.
I'm not helping you, okay? It's not like that, okay? I don't want you to think that we have a
I have a past.
continuing relationship where I'm gonna help you out, like, I'm gonna help you out in this situation, given the circumstances of the stop, given the circumstances of you actually having done some work for NIU, things like that, right? And I'll take care of the traffic tickets, but anything else going forward, you are on your own as a probationee in the state of Georgia, okay?
Okay.
All right?
If I get a call from an officer saying, hey, we have her on the side of the road, she's got whatever, it's no, oh, I was doing it because I'm working for the police.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I get it.
Mm.
I get it. I understand.
Okay. All right. Any questions for us?
No.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming up here. I know
Thank
it's
you.
an odd circumstance. and-
Last time I sat in one of these rooms, I was in shackles.
Well, you are free to go.
Okay.
Go get you some clothes up there.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm gonna.
Ask to speak to Ashley.
I'm gonna
She's at
have
the
my
front.
friend Lavelle meet me because she just got out. She doesn't have much either, and she's got put on some weight. So she
They're gonna get you some clothes, just ask for Ashley, and you both have to have your IDs to fill out an application because they keep track of who they help, but they'll get you some clothes.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll let her out.
All right?